Let's pull up the stock of Teamlease for you. It came out with its earnings. Profit after tax of 38.4%, 38.4 crore rupees. Revenues up 23% at 817 crore rupees. So the earnings have been pretty strong. To talk to us about the earnings, we are joined by Mr. Ashok Reddy, the CEO and MD of Teamlease Services, who's joining us from Bangalore. Mr. Reddy, thank you so much for being with us on Ndtv Profit. We've seen an overall strong performance coming in for your company. The revenue growth has been pretty strong. Can you tell us what was the increase in headcount during the fourth quarter?
So we added about 4,100 plus associates trainees during the quarter, and overall for the year we've added about 30,000 plus employees and trainees. So I think it's been a strong growth year for us, and has also played out with the element of the margin improvement with the economies of scale opportunity that we have.
All the acquisitions that you did, especially for the IT staffing business, are they working the way you had planned? Seeing the kind of margin expansion you were expecting, have you got to where you wanted to when it comes to margins post the IT staffing acquisitions?
So the IT staffing acquisitions for us came into being towards the second half and the last quarter of the year. So I think we'll see the full impact of those acquisitions into this year. But yes, it's given us a strong opening balance with clients and with capabilities, which we are looking to leverage into this year. So I would say they have been good for us, and we look to further drive them up to contributing on the margins front into this year.
Right. Can you talk about what's happening with the hiring space, especially in the IT space? There is a lot of talk of softness in the IT sector. Some talk about layoffs, which now companies are denying. What's the outlook like for IT staffing?
So I think if you really look at it, and we've always said that, the uncertainty in industries and markets is a good time for the staffing industry, because in uncertain times like to outsource the employee base and resort to temping and take people on a trial period. So I think the opportunity in these kind of times are good. From a staffing perspective, and we do believe and we do have large volume demands that are coming in from the IT industry. But having said that, I think the overall play out, as is being stated in the IT industry, might be a knee-jerk reaction at this point in time. So I think we should just wait out and see how it goes on the employment trends for the companies on their own, and through a staffing route, we do believe that the opportunity is going to be quite high.
All right. Did you add new clients as well in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, so we've added totally about 390 clients during the year. And I think, so we are now short of 2,000 clients on board. So I think we continue to focus on de-risking ourselves by having a large client base across industries, so that we don't get swayed by any movement in an industry or a company. So the top 10 customers right now account for only 17% of our business. And I think that's a good de-risking strategy that we have taken.
Right. Going ahead, you remain positive about the IT hiring. You said, in uncertain times, temp hiring goes up. For your own business, what kind of growth are you foreseeing? Do you see a big pickup in the economy and hence creation of jobs? Which sector do you see will see maximum demand? Because, why these concerns are coming up, some sectors are seeing consolidation, be it telecom, or e-commerce. There's a lot of consolidation taking place. We've already heard of layoffs in the e-commerce space as well. For your own growth, do you see it good? If yes, what segments do you see the growth coming from?
So I think, opportunity in terms of employment growth, and also, like we have been saying, there's a huge opportunity for us for the transition from informal to formal. Only 1.5% of the outsourcing space in the Indian context is in the formal industry. So if the implementation of GST, labor law compliances, adherence to the regulatory environment and all of that, we believe is going to be a huge kicker to formalization. And we stay at that cusp of formalization. So our belief is that a combination of the market growth on employment front and a larger shift of informal to formal will still give us leeway for growth. We are a waiter in the restaurant. We don't dictate which industry is going to grow. but I think we effectively are willing to take orders from anyone and deliver to their requirements to sustain the element of growth.
All right, but can you talk about the segments or the sectors where you think the expectation is of strong growth? Do you think it will come from the manufacturing side? Do you think it could be retail? Where do you see the greatest traction coming from?
We are seeing it from the FMCD sector. We are seeing it from the agri commodities sector. We are seeing it coming partially from the BFSI sector, a little bit from the manufacturing. So I would say it is diversified at this point in time.
You got a tax write back which buoyed your profits for this year, but on the margin levels, your margins still thin in this sector. How much do you think you can expand the margins going ahead, and what will be the levers? Will it be just the acquisitions? Are there other efficiencies at play?
So efficiencies will continue. The levers of higher margin businesses coming to complement the existing general staffing will be there. But I think what we're really also looking at is saying that, the global standards for margin in the staffing industry go to about 3.5%. So over a period, we should be able to get to the global standards.
All right. But when it comes to the return on capital, that remains strong. You think it's going to remain in that range, or is there scope for improvement there as well?
So look, we are not a very capital intensive industry. So by virtue of that, I think we are well invested in the business. The incremental investments, if at all, are to acquisition. So our return on capital employed will always be high and will improve as we go forward. And we are also cash generating business on an incremental basis. 100% of our profits translate into operating cash flows.
Right. Over the last 3 years, you've been increasing the average markup per employee per month. I think this year came up to about 700 rupees. What is the outlook there? Do you think you'll keep on increasing the markup as well?
Marginal improvement. Like I said, we don't have the pricing power in our hands at this point, given the large scale informal play on the other side. But our belief is that we will be able to make incremental improvements on the margins, and especially now with IT coming in and all of that, our margin improvement should happen.
Right. And for revenue growth for FY18, what are you penciling in?
Our belief is that the market opportunity is large and we will continue to chip away. So hopefully in line with our past trends.
All right, Mr. Reddy, thank you so much for speaking with us at Ndtv Profit, giving us the highlights of the earnings from the fourth quarter from Teamlease. So Mr. Reddy is saying that they expect the hiring market to remain strong because there is going to be a shift from the unorganized to the organized sector. And in uncertain times in the IT sector, temporary hiring could increase and that will be beneficial for them. We're going to slip into a break at this point in time. When you come back,